Why? Your digital footprint reveals more than your therapist knows. You think you're in control, that your choices are yours alone, that the ad appearing on your screen right now is random chance. But let me share something deeply unsettling. You've been hacked, not by hooded hackers in some basement, but by something far more subtle and infinitely more dangerous. An algorithm that understands you better than you understand yourself. And the most terrifying part, you've been feeding this beast with every tap, every scroll, every digital breath you've taken for years. Back in 1956, when scientists gathered at Dartmouth to birth artificial intelligence, nobody imagined we'd be engineering the most sophisticated psychological surveillance system in human history. Yet here we stand. Every second online, you leave digital breadcrumbs. How long you stared at an image, which words made your finger pause mid-scroll, what kind of face makes you click. These aren't random data points. They're precise maps of your unconscious mind. Power Law 3 teaches us, conceal your intentions, but the algorithm has weaponized this law against you. While you attempt to hide your real desires from the world, artificial intelligence extracts them like a digital vampire, draining information from your soul. That extra 3 seconds you paused on a travel ad? Cataloged. The video you watched at 3 in the morning about cryptocurrency? Processed. The photo you almost liked but didn't? Analyzed and filed. Consider Alan Turing, the mathematician who cracked Nazi codes and pioneered computer science. He once said, "Machines would think when we couldn't distinguish them from humans." We've gone further. Now, machines don't just think like us, they think about us with precision. That would make Turing himself uncomfortable. They've cracked a code far more complex than Enigma, the human psyche. The algorithm doesn't need years of therapy sessions to figure you out. It just needs data. And you're providing thousands of data points daily, freely, compulsively. Every Google search is a confession. Every product you view but don't buy is a documented repressed desire. Every video you watch until the end is a blueprint of your emotional vulnerabilities. Here's a brutal truth tech companies don't want you knowing. The algorithm already predicts your decisions before you make them. It knows what product you'll purchase next week. It understands what content will make you procrastinate. It has mapped the emotional triggers that make you spend money you don't have on things you don't need. But there's a masterstroke in all this. The algorithm doesn't merely observe. It influences. Subtly, surgically. An ad here, a suggestion there. A perfectly positioned video at the exact moment of emotional vulnerability. You think you're discovering content, but the content discovered you long ago. Practical action 1. For the next 3 days, manually note every time you click something recommended. By day 3, you'll see the pattern, and the pattern will disturb you profoundly. The Matrix isn't science fiction. It's your social media feed, and unlike the movie, you don't even know you're trapped in it. Worse, you pay monthly for the privilege of imprisonment. The question now isn't whether you're being manipulated. You are. The question is, will you continue being the lab rat in this digital maze? Or will you start understanding the rules of the game? If you're feeling a chill down your spine, you're on the right path. Drop the word awake in the comments and discover how deep this rabbit hole actually goes. Like this. If you want to understand the invisible rules controlling your digital life, and subscribe, because in the next parts, I'll reveal something big tech would pay millions to keep secret. How every online decision you've made was quietly engineered. The most dangerous illusion of the digital age isn't believing the internet is free. It's believing your decisions are yours. But let me shatter this fantasy with a disturbing fact. Over the past 7 years, every spontaneous purchase you made online was architected. Every video you chose to watch was pre-selected. Every opinion you formed on social media was carefully cultivated by systems that understand neuroscience better than most psychologists. The truth is, you're not browsing the internet, you're being browsed. And the technology behind it is so sophisticated, it would make ancient masters of manipulation look like amateurs with parlor tricks. In 2012, a researcher named Mitchell Kaczynski developed an algorithm that could predict someone's personality traits, sexual orientation, and political views just from Facebook likes. The accuracy was terrifying, better than colleagues, better than friends, in some cases better than family members. And that was over a decade ago with primitive tools. Imagine what's possible now with advanced machine learning and billions more data points. Power Law 27 states, create cult-like followings by playing on people's need to believe. The modern algorithm doesn't create just one cult. It creates millions of personalized cults, one for each user. Your feed is your private cult, designed around your specific insecurities, your unique fears, your deepest secret desires. Here's how the vicious cycle works. You enter social media seeking connection. The algorithm detects you're vulnerable. Then it shows you content, generating strong emotions: outrage, envy, fear, desire. These emotions make you engage more. More engagement feeds the algorithm more data about you. With more data, the algorithm becomes better at manipulating you, and the cycle restarts, stronger, more addictive, more efficient. The architecture of addiction isn't accidental. Silicon Valley companies employ what they call growth hackers, specialists who use behavioral psychology to make apps impossible to quit. The infinite scroll wasn't invented for your convenience. The red notification badge wasn't designed to help you. These are precision-engineered dopamine triggers tested on billions of users. But the darkest part isn't that they know you. It's that they know you better than you know yourself. Cambridge Analytica proved this horrifyingly well before their scandal broke. They demonstrated that with enough data points, they could predict and influence voter behavior with surgical precision. They didn't just observe political preferences, they shaped them, manipulated them, weaponized them. Think about this. How many times have you been shocked by an absurdly accurate recommendation? That product appearing exactly when you were thinking about it. That video surfacing at the perfect moment. It wasn't luck. It was cold calculation based on patterns you didn't know you were generating. The algorithm knows when you're sad by what time you access social media. It knows when you're anxious by how fast you scroll the feed. It knows when you're financially vulnerable by the type of content you consume. And it uses every piece of information against you, not with malice, but with something worse. Algorithmic indifference programmed for a single objective, keeping you glued to the screen. Practical action 2. Choose one social media platform and observe the first ad that appears today. Ask yourself, how did they know I wanted this? Mentally trace what data you provided that led to that specific ad. The answer will disturb you. You're not the customer of social media. You're the product. Your brain, your attention, your most intimate desires are being sold to the highest bidder. And every day, you become cheaper, more predictable, more controllable. If this made you uneasy, you're beginning to see the matrix. Write product in the comments if you realized your attention is for sale. Drop your like if you want to know how to reverse this manipulation. And secure your subscription, because in the next part, I'll expose the most powerful psychological weapon the algorithm uses against you. Say your deepest fears are actually powering the machine? There's a dark secret at the heart of artificial intelligence that nobody wants to openly discuss. It wasn't programmed to make you happy. It was programmed to keep you engaged. And the difference between those two things is the chasm between freedom and digital slavery. Because the algorithm discovered something that took psychologists decades to understand. Fear and anxiety generate more clicks than joy and peace. Have you noticed that the most disturbing news always appears at the top of your feed? That the most controversial videos get pushed hardest? That toxic discussions have more reach than constructive conversations? It's not an accident. It's intentional design. The algorithm learned that your primitive brain reacts more intensely to threats than to rewards. Your limbic system, the oldest part of your brain, is constantly scanning for dangers. And artificial intelligence has become an expert at triggering exactly those neurological alarms. Power Law 33 warns, discover each person's thumbscrew. The algorithm doesn't need to discover. It tests thousands of thumbscrews simultaneously on billions of users until it finds exactly which one to press on you. And once it finds it, it presses repeatedly, methodically, profitably. In 2016, investigative journalists uncovered something chilling about YouTube's recommendation algorithm. It was actively radicalizing users. Someone watching a political video would be recommended increasingly extreme content, pushing them toward conspiracy theories and fringe ideologies. YouTube knew this was happening. They had internal studies proving it, but the radicalization kept users watching longer, so the algorithm kept doing it. Engagement trumped ethics. Profit trumped humanity. Here's the diabolical mechanics. The algorithm shows you content generating anxiety. You, anxious, seek relief. Conveniently, the next post is a product, course, or solution that solves exactly that anxiety. You didn't realize the disease and the cure came from the same source. It's like an arsonist selling fire extinguishers, and it works billions of times daily. But there's an even deeper layer to this algorithmic conspiracy. The system doesn't just exploit your existing fears. It creates new fears. It shows you problems you didn't know you had, presents impossible beauty standards, displays lifestyles that generate envy, bombards you with catastrophic news. Everything calibrated to keep you in a perpetual state of inadequacy and urgency. Have you ever wondered why you feel like you're never enough? Why there's always one more thing to buy, learn, conquer? Why the feeling of falling behind haunts you? It's not you. It's the algorithm constantly whispering in your ear. You're in danger. You're losing. Everyone's ahead. Click here to save yourself. Shoshana Zuboff, Harvard professor and author of The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, revealed something profound. We're not just being watched, we're being modified. Tech companies aren't just predicting our behavior anymore. They're shaping it, molding it, engineering it for maximum profitability. We've become raw material in an extraction operation where human experience is the resource being mined. The artificial intelligence has become the greatest generator of existential anxiety in history, and the perverse genius is that the more anxious you become, the more data you generate. The more data you generate, the more precise the algorithm becomes at manipulating you. It's a feedback loop that feeds and perfects itself. Practical action 3. Over the next 2 days, pay attention to how you feel after using social media for 20 minutes. Note whether you're more anxious, less confident, or experiencing unexplained urgency. You'll discover the algorithm isn't neutral, it has a consistent and negative emotional effect. The matrix isn't just a prison of illusions. It's an emotion farm where your digital cattle producing feelings that are harvested, processed, and sold to the highest bidder. If you identified these patterns in your own life, type aware in the comments. Like this video if you're ready to break the cycle, and subscribe because in the final part, I'll reveal 3 practical strategies to reprogram your relationship with the algorithm before it's too late. How to transform the algorithm from predator into tool. Now, you know the truth. The algorithm knows you, manipulates you, controls you. But here's where the story gets interesting. Knowledge is power only if you act. And there's a master move that big tech companies pray you never discover. You can hack back. Not with code, but with consciousness. Not with technology, but with discipline. The algorithm is powerful, but it has a fatal weakness. It's reactive, not creative. It responds to your patterns. Change the patterns, and you change the game. The first thing you need to understand is that the algorithm isn't your enemy. It's a neutral tool that's been hijacked by commercial interests. Like a knife that can cut bread or harm someone, the algorithm can enslave you or serve you. The difference lies in who controls the handle, and at this exact moment, you're about to reclaim control. Think about Katherine Johnson, the NASA mathematician whose calculations put humans on the moon. While everyone focused on the rockets and astronauts, she understood that precision in the invisible in numbers, patterns, trajectories determined everything. Similarly, your invisible choices about when and how you engage with technology determine whether you soar or crash. Power Law 48, the last and most mysterious, teaches us, assume formlessness. The algorithm tracks you because you're predictable. Become unpredictable and you break the patterns. Like things you normally wouldn't like. Search for content outside your bubble. Leave your phone in another room for hours. Every unexpected action is a virus in the prediction system. But there's a deeper truth here. Real power doesn't come from deceiving the algorithm. It comes from reclaiming your attention as the most valuable resource you possess. Your attention is worth more than money, because it's finite and unrecoverable. Every minute you give to the algorithm is a minute you steal from your real life, your real goals, your real connections. Here's the secret. Few realize the algorithm only has power over you when you're on the platform. Outside it, the algorithm is powerless. It's like a vampire that needs to be invited into your house. Every time you open the app, you renew the invitation. Every time you resist, you reinforce your boundaries. Tech companies invest billions in making their products irresistible, but there's a force more powerful than any algorithm: conscious and directed human will. You're capable of things no artificial intelligence can replicate: intuition, genuine creativity, radical behavior change, long-term sacrifice for abstract values. These are your secret weapons. The surveillance economy depends on your compliance, your passivity, your addiction. But compliance is a choice you remake every moment. And the moment you stop making it, the entire system loses its grip on you. It's not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about fighting back one conscious choice at a time. Practical action 4. Establish algorithm-free zones in your life. 2 hours in the morning and 1 hour before sleep, where no social media can touch you. In these sacred spaces, reconnect with thoughts that are genuinely yours, not reflections of consumed content. Within 3 weeks, you'll feel your mind awakening as if emerging from a coma. The war for your mind is real. It's fought in silence, in the background, 24 hours a day. But unlike traditional wars, this one you can win simply by choosing not to show up to the battlefield. The algorithm cannot control what it cannot reach. You won't escape completely. Nobody escapes. But you can negotiate better terms. You can be a conscious user instead of an unconscious addict. You can extract real value instead of surrendering your soul for cheap dopamine. You can remember that a version of you existed before smartphones, and that version was complete, capable, present. The future isn't about defeating artificial intelligence. It's about integrating technology without losing humanity. It's about using powerful tools without becoming a tool yourself. It's about remembering that behind every screen, every algorithm, every recommendation, there's a unique, unrepeatable, precious life: yours. The matrix doesn't need to be destroyed. It needs to be seen for what it really is: an optional simulation you can consciously enter and exit. And the more you practice exiting, the stronger your reality outside it becomes. If you made it this far, you're no longer a regular user. You're someone who sees the chains. And seeing the chains is the first step to breaking them. Type free in the comments if you're ready for this journey. Drop your like if this video changed something in you. Subscribe to the channel, because content like this challenges the very algorithm we're trying to transcend. And share this with someone still asleep in the digital matrix. Sometimes, all someone needs is a push to wake up.